How can you develop a network that's useful to you in your career? Right from the very beginning of your career, it's worthwhile paying attention to developing connections that are very diverse in age, in stage of career, in fields of science, in occupations. And those career connections will accumulate with time. But at every stage of career, you can slowly begin to gain some connections and get to know people in ways that will lift you up, will enrich your creativity, will open up opportunities for you, and will serve to get you information that is useful to you, but also give you opportunities to help other people, to contribute to this incredible enterprise of science, right? You are joining a conversation that stretches back centuries and spreads out in space, a large fraternity and sorority of human beings engaged in this collective project, which is the advancement of knowledge. And so you can think about developing your network in self-interested ways, but you can also think about developing your network in ways that recognize the importance of the task in which all of us are engaged, the preservation, production, and dissemination of knowledge. Still, there's some practical things I think that you can think about when you are sort of developing your network. First of all, be nice to people. Be as nice to them as you can possibly be. It's at every stage. Be nice to your peers, be nice to your subordinates, be nice to your superordinates. Never deliberately set out to make enemies. There is no reason to be mean to anybody. There's no reason to seek out someone for conflict. But realize that sometimes people will seek you out for conflict. Even if you don't want to have any enemies, enemies will find you. And when they do, it's really important, if you can, to show grace, right? To cultivate a habit of mind in which you don't seek vengeance. It's been said that to be vengeful is to swallow a poison and hope it kills your enemy. That's not what's going to happen. You just have to let it go. If other people do bad things to you, it's good for your emotional health and it's good for your intellectual stability to compartmentalize it and move on. It's also important to develop a network that's intergenerational. You reach out to people that are 10 years older than you. That's the sweet spot, actually, because people that are 10 years older than you aren't competing with you for resources, right? They're sufficiently older than you that they might feel their own satisfaction in mentoring you and in helping you. But they're not so much older than you that they're out of touch and no longer are well connected enough to be useful to you. So people that are sort of half a generation ahead of you are, in my judgment, ideal advisors. But also, of course, reach out to your peers. Be nice to your peers. These are the people that you are going to move in lockstep with during your career. You're going to bump into these people for the rest of your life. They're going to be on review committees. They're going to be on grant approval committees. They're going to be on prize committees. They're going to be reviewers for manuscripts you submit. The people around you, your peers, are going to be part of your career for the rest of your life. And also be nice to the people that are younger than you, right? And develop connections with them. These are people often who will bring eventually fresh ideas to you. Eventually, they might be the ones that nominate you for things that might be useful to you. Just from an expedient point of view, it's advantageous to have interactions with people that are older, your same age, and younger than you. But it's also enriching in terms of the kinds of things that you encounter, the kinds of ideas you encounter, the kinds of experiences you have. Another very basic tool is to be nice to people when they don't expect it. Make it your practice when you see a nice paper written by somebody. Certainly if you know the person, but even if they're just an acquaintance, even if you don't know them, you see a nice scientific paper published, write a note to the author. Just say, "Oh my God, I just saw this paper. It was so elegant. It was so beautiful. Or it gave me this idea." Just imagine what you feel like when you get notes like that. And then imagine how wonderful it is for other people to get a note like that. People remember those kinds of kindnesses. Plus, you're contributing to a public good. You're helping to create this important culture that we all participate in as scientists. We're part of this medium. We're part of this community. And to the extent that all of us act in a principled way and in a kind way, we create an environment that also redounds and is useful and beneficial to ourselves. And finally, I would say, it's important to understand that science is a part of society. It's not just about, in an isolated way, how do we connect with each other and how do we get along with each other. We as scientists also interact with the public. We interact with industry. We interact with government. It's important to have connections in those areas. As your career unfolds, you'll eventually get to know reporters. You'll eventually get to know business people, entrepreneurs who will contact you about different scientific questions they have. You'll interact with policymakers. You might be invited to testify or to contribute to some kind of report, for example. I would say yes to some of those experiences. It's helpful, once again, to our broader society. It fulfills the mission of science, and it enriches your life by giving you this very broad set of connections. So if I'd have to sum up, to really fulfill the mission of science and to really instantiate that mission in yourself, I think it's important to have a very broad network of human beings with whom you interact, that you can draw and give ideas to, and that by interacting with those people, you advance science and you advance the well-being of our whole society.